Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, comrades and friends, you know we love to speak on public issues, and public issue we have today. Now, we are actually in the year 2025, but by the headline here, you might think that we're actually in the year 1925, but I want to assure you that this is actually present day in August of 2025. And so I saw this report today, and it said, Supreme Court to hear case that may overturn same-sex marriage. Now, this is by the leading report, and the leading report is actually rather misleading right here. So no pun intended, you know what I'm saying? But I want to tell you what's going on because there actually is a real concern that same-sex marriage could, in theory, be overturned here. Well, it's a long, drawn-out process, obviously, but there's an actual concern, especially with respect to the Supreme Court and, all their conservative behavior these days. And so what's going on? Well, I'm here to tell you that Kim Davis, the former Kentucky county clerk who was refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses back in 2015, they just recently filed a petition with the U.S. Supreme Court asking them to hear her appeal. And she's arguing that the landmark 2015 case of Obergefell v. Hodges was egregiously wrong and claims that her First Amendment rights were violated. Now, this is going to be the first formal challenge to Obergefell at the Supreme Court since that decision. Ooh, interesting stuff here. Right now, if the court agrees to hear Davis's case and ultimately overturns Obergefell, control over same-sex marriage would revert to individual states. So kind of like Roe v. Wade, for example. Even so, the Federal Respect for Marriage Act of 2022 would still require states to recognize same-sex marriages performed illegally in other states, but it would not protect states from bans or refusals to issue new licenses, right? So you're kind of looking at almost like a what do you call it? Like a Roe v. Wade type situation here, whereby it's going to go back to the states. It's going to revert back to the states. But federally speaking, it would still be recognized. You see what I'm saying here? Almost like how states have the right to, legalize marijuana, right? But in the same breath, it's also illegal at the federal level, right? So obviously states have a lot of power that the federal government doesn't. Like there's non-overlapping magisteria. You know what I'm saying? Like overlapping magisteria, kind of, right? There's a cool little quote there. But all right, so are they actually going to officially hear this then? So they don't actually have a hearing scheduled, but what they do have is a private conference. And so the justices from the Supreme Court are going to review petitions in closed-door meetings, and then they'll decide whether Kim Davis's case meets the threshold for at least four judges, where at least four judges must vote yes. Right? And if they don't vote yes, then obviously it won't be heard. But if it does, then they will have actual like a hearing and oral arguments, right? That would be scheduled. And so it's certainly possible. I think with the Supreme Court here, especially ruling in favor of states as opposed to, federal, control, right? So they want a little bit more Republican type of government. And I don't even necessarily mean Republican like in terms of the conservative Republicans. I mean more so like you govern the area with which you reside, right? So each state would decide if you believe that people even decide anyways, and then it's not just ruled by the global elite who are taking things over with all their billions and billions of dollars in lobbying initiatives and a propaganda machine. What? Who said that? Not me. So I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. It's an interesting thing here. Hopefully it doesn't get overturned. I mean, this is actually insane to me that people even discuss this. Like first of all, why are people so obsessed with what other people do with their genitals? Like, just leave them alone, man. Just let them do what they want. Let them live their happy life, and so be it. Like, if you're that upset by it, close your eyes and walk away. I don't understand. It's ridiculous, right? It's none of your business. That's the thing. Like, it's literally none of your business. And also too, it's none of the state's goddamn business, right? Screw the government, man. What did they have? They should have nothing to do with marriage in the first place, right? That's how I sort of see it, right? I mean, like, why should they have that right and power and authority? I understand it. It's like deeper than that. It's more ceremonial in nature, and like it's like a freedom thing. I get that, but in the same breath here, like you could be married in spirit, but then not recognized by the state. And like, that's, culturally that would be weird, right? To not have that formal marriage certificate. Right. So I understand why so I understand why people place a priority on it. Everybody does. Right. I understand why people who are married do that. I understand why they do that. But in the same breath, like, it's just unfortunate, it's really just unfortunate because the state really shouldn't probably be involved in these things to begin with, because I mean, like, what do you even get for being married? I mean, maybe like, let's be honest, right? Obviously you get the love of your life, obviously, which is great. If you're not like one of the 50% of people who get divorced in this country. But, outside of the love of your life, why should the government have a role? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just my 2 cents there. But I don't know. This is absolutely disgusting. I think anybody should be able to get married. And in fact, I would say that, look, if you could be, non-monogamous and get married. You could have like 17 spouses. Like, it's none of the government's business. You know what I'm saying? Like, if there's no like crazy tax incentives or anything to do this, like, and have multiple people getting married, like, it's none of the government's business. Or same with same-sex couples, like, there's literally none of the government's business. Like, just treat everybody the same, right? Give everybody the same benefits for being married, your fancy little license and whatnot, and like, the testifying and stuff like that. So, I just make it the same across the board. Like, each individual is an individual, right? And like, the government shouldn't have a say over what they do with their own body and where they put their mind and where they put their love. It's none of their business. And so they got to stay out of it. Anyways, I could rant all day. But ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed the story today. Always interesting and depressing news. Always, always, always. But thank you so much for 300 subscribers. I really appreciate you. We're going to hit 500 sometime soon. I think that would be awesome if we could do it here, probably in the next couple months. But I mean, I think in reality, we probably should hit that a lot sooner. So, but it would just be cool. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, talk to you later, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.